What's up, guys? We're the Farooqi Brothers back with another Built Different stream. And today for you guys, we got a whole bunch of stuff to get into between DC and Marvel, and even some special announcements along the way. So we're happy that you guys are joining us, and let's have a fun stream. And we got to give credit to Umar. He's a trooper. Even while traveling, he's on that Mamba mentality, no days off kind of thing, and he's still remoting in to the stream. So we appreciate Umar for doing that for the boys. All right, so let's get to that first topic. And it's I want to start with Aquaman 2 because James Wan shared a photo on Instagram saying that a production meeting of Aquaman has been going on, and the title card, probably a tentative title, maybe the announcement of a full title, probably the latter, of Aquaman has been released, and it's going to be titled Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So a lot of people are going to automatically thinking, oh, Lost Kingdom of Atlantis, things like that of that nature. Where is the story going to go forward from that first movie? Maybe how it could connect to other movies featuring Aquaman. Is it going to be completely ignoring Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is probably what it's going to do, or all that stuff? So we can touch that one by one really quickly. But I'll start with the title itself. Like, Zion, do you like this new title?
Yeah, I think the title's fine. I mean, I'm pretty sure once they give some more detail into the story, the title make perfect sense for what they're trying to do. And just to comment on what you said about Zack Snyder's Justice League, I feel like there's no need to even comment or bring anything up about that because this is just following Aquaman 1. So really, whatever happened in Justice League happened even before that. So mentioning it now in any way is irrelevant to the movie that James Wan is making. So I don't think they'll need to mention it, talk about it, or bring it up in any way because the events of Zack Snyder's Justice League take place way before Aquaman 1. So in Aquaman 2, obviously, it's irrelevant to even bring that up. And as far the title, I mean, the title's fine. It's nothing like amazing, but I think it'll be fine for what story they're trying to tell. And as more details come out, it'll probably fit right.
Yeah, I was thinking, I agree on that point too with Justice League. I think that it's kind of a moot point. I know fans are very interested in looking for any kind of detail that, oh, there's a connection here, there's a connection there. But I do think that right now what we're seeing is really James Wan's vision, and its vision is going to be over the course of his trilogy that he's pretty much building out with Aquaman. So it's going to be interesting to see what he builds on, but what he's going to be building on are the core themes of that first film. We're going to also see more of Black Manta. We're going to see obviously a lot more of Orm. I think that relationship between the two brothers is going to be very prevalent to the movie, to movie's core, to the movie's themes as it goes forward. I think there's going to be all sorts of heartbreak also for some characters. I think there's a lot of things going on top to bottom of that movie, which is going to be interesting. And of course, seeing Jason back as Aquaman is probably the thing that we're all most excited about. I don't know, Umar, if you're available right now, would you agree with that Jason's reprisal is probably the thing you're most excited about?
Yeah, that is what I'm most excited about. Sorry about there's a music thing going on here.
No worries.
But yes, I am most excited about that as well. Just seeing Jason Momoa back as Aquaman. That'd be the coolest thing. I think he's one of those actors that really does like embody the role like in a very like amazing way. So I think like just having someone like that as Aquaman right now, it's like the golden age for his live action thing going on. So it'd be cool to just see what they come up with. He's written some of the script, so I'm excited to see his like imprint on it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about, seeing the creative development, seeing how all the creative sides of the film are developing, hopefully with the least amount of studio involvement and the most amount of creatives actually on the film to take over. Let me bring Samir back into it. Samir, technical difficulties aside, do you like this title? Do you think that they could have done better, or this is about what you expected? Do you even hear me, Samir? It ain't gonna work. All right, so we're having one of those days. You know what? When in doubt, you gotta bring in some help, and we're gonna bring in our editor, Alex, to jump on board to help us with this topic. Alex, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to join the show today. Talk about
cool
stuff.
So as you see, one of the brothers is having some internet problems. The other brother is in a car. So it's one of those days. So you're going to have to carry your weight on the stream with us on today. But What did you think about the title, man? I know Aquaman's one of your favorite characters as well. I know you enjoyed the first movie. What do you think about this title and where they could be going with this sequel?
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I really did love the first Aquaman. I think there's a lot there. Aquaman is one of those characters that I think even still is really underrated. It's really cool to see the amount of people that have become fans since the first movie, and him getting that big exposure is really awesome. And even still, though, I think there's a lot of like untapped potential for this character, and I'm excited to see them explore that more in the sequel. And I think that with a lot of movies that we know are getting multiple installments, which we kind of assumed was going to be happening with Aquaman, like going into it, they've gotten that typical like the things you have to cover in the first kind of film, the origin story movie, like out of the way, and so they get to dive into more things. And I think y'all brought up a great point about Jason's creative input in the script, and I'm looking forward to see kind of like what he has brought to the table as far as the story. And then I mean, I like the title. I think obviously, as you said, it alludes to the Lost Kingdom of Atlantis, and so I'm excited to see I really hope they dive deep into the mythology and all of those kind of sides of Atlantis and what you can do there with a character like Aquaman, because I think it's a big, like, you have this mythology in this kingdom of Atlantis and all that stuff that makes Aquaman very unique, and so I think you should definitely do the most that you can to like dive into that, and they've done that so far with the first one, so I just want to see more of that like going forward.
Yeah, and I think Alex made a great point on one thing where it's like I think Juan has even more control, like freedom on this film than the first one, because in the first one you gotta set up like all the characters, the world, the foundation. You gotta get all that out of the way, which takes time from the movie. But now that everything's already there, everything's set up, you can really just jump right into it and tell the story you want to tell, and with little introductions of new things, or maybe more, not all the foundation, the base is set up, where you can just now springboard into like bigger, deeper stories.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way about that, and it's gonna be interesting where it goes next. Samir, is the internet working for you? Do you hear me right now?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think about this title? I mean, you're the creative editor on the team, right? I mean, is this creative enough for you?
Yeah, I mean the title sounds good. It's little to go off of, but so far it seems like it has potential. I mean, regardless of the Snyderverse, DCU is in a very weird place, so it'll be interesting to see.
Remember to mute yourself.
It'll be interesting to see how James Wan takes this.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. So let's keep moving, keep trotting along. We have a lot of topics, but I want to put the spotlight on our boy Alex right now, because if you guys don't know, Alex, longtime editor of Comic Book Debate, writer, editor. He's been with us. Yeah, he's one of those day ones. We call him a day one because he's been with us since when the inception of the website and the brand and what the vision will be. Alex was a big part of kind of instilling it and being an extension of what we wanted to do with it, but also then adding his own style, his own flair to it. So, number one, thank you, Alex, for kind of the help and the work you did in growing Comic Book Debate alongside us. And Alex has some great news to share, because he was announced recently in a comic book CBR report that he's going to be writing his own title alongside one of his friends. And the name's going to be Codename EKO-SPIDER, but I don't want to give all the details of this book away. So I want Alex, you to give me a quick idea of first, how did this come about? What's the process from going as a writer covering the business to someone actually getting into it itself?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. First off, thank you for a very warm introduction. It's been fantastic being with Comic Book Debate, like as long as I have, and it's just always been very great and supportive. And the getting this book and like doing this has been very weird. You can actually literally see the interview that kind of got me on board with this book. So the book is coming out from publisher Dizzy Doom Media, which is being created by Gabriel Valentin, who is the writer and creator of Digital Lizards of Doom, which is a graphic novel. And so Evan and I, who is going to be the writer on the book that we're doing, we sat down with him for an interview on our podcast. And then after that interview, he was like, yeah, we should work together on something, kind of spitball things from there. And then he approached us with an idea for a spinoff title in the Digital Lizards of Doom universe. And so that's focused on these two characters, which is Commander Echo and then Spider Nose. And so Echo is this kind of typical, like, he's the big bad guy in this universe for the Digital Lizards of Doom. And so he's this, Echo stands for electronic killing organism. He's this trapped in this, he's a sentient thing in this robot body, and then he has Spider Nose, who's this like henchman archetype type role with him, who's incredibly loyal to him. And you learn more about him in Volume 2 of Digital Lizards of Doom, which is coming out soon too. That was part of the press release I know on CBR about it's one of the titles launching underneath the publishing house. And so, yeah, you learn more about the relationship there. And then Gabe talked to Evan and I about doing this book that really highlights and focuses specifically on these two characters and sends them on an adventure. And yeah, so I'm writing it currently. We have a cover that Evan has done that is amazing. We'll be able to show it soon, I think within the next week or so. We're waiting on a few things, but so that'll be really cool. And yeah, it's been very crazy because I've always, as you know, have enjoyed kind of analyzing and diving into comics from the editorial side of things and the journalism side of things. And so then sitting down and actually writing one has been very cool. It's been awesome. It's fun just pulling from the inspirations and like resources that I have and that I enjoy seeing in my work and kind of like putting those into this story now that like I'm talking about. Like I have a Lovecraft reference in like the first scene of the book, which I know like a lot of people won't, recognize or like get, but the people like me who do see it will be like, oh, that's awesome. And that's really cool. And that's kind of the things that I love seeing in the work that I consume. And so it's been cool to do that. But yeah, it's been really awesome. And it's crazy to see it happening and being able to talk about it now too has been awesome because I've known for a little bit and we had to wait for that kind of press release and that announcement.
It's awesome hearing someone from your angle because you're like, again, someone who grew up with it, loved it, and now is putting their own vision and that feeling of having creative control over something. And this is like you're building your own mythology, even though you're part of another wider universe. But this is the first steps of the Alex Batts story, right? Like, and you're building in, but potentially could be an entire career. And is that something that you're interested in? Like, would you want to keep doing this like for the rest of your life, in a sense?
Oh, absolutely. And it's cool that you mentioned too, like building a mythology and stuff, and being a part of these characters are part of an existing IP that Gabe has made. That's a very crazy thing. There's a ton of stuff happening there, but this book specifically too is like an alternate timeline in that mythology. So we have even more creative freedom than you normally would have in it. And so like it's these characters that but we're getting to do what we want with them, which has been really awesome and really cool. But yeah, as for like being able to do this like continually and full time, I mean, I think that's definitely like the dream. It would be amazing to do. This is something that's really cool, and I'll probably keep saying it's crazy to see like happening, and it's something I have so many ideas for various stories and things that I want to tell. So yeah, it's definitely something that I want to explore more and hope to explore more with this, and then future projects after it too.
You started when I asked you, probably the first thing you do is start talking about how it kind of came out of networking, and in a sense you were doing another interview that led you to kind of this opportunity. So can you speak on like the power of even networking and keeping good relations and being professional? Because in a lot of ways you've been a model of professionalism for years now, and now you're seeing that it's paying off in dividends. So do you like recognize that, like, hey, I've put in the work, I do it in a certain way, I have my craft, and then now someone recognized me for it, like, or because that's how we see it, when you gave us the news.
Oh yeah, no, it's exactly like that. It's really crazy because I can go through and trace back like, oh, I've been friends with Josh, who ran this big DC page on Instagram, and we wrote we had multiple sites, kind of like Comic Book Debate, where we were just covering like pop culture news and stuff like that, and have just stayed friends for a long time. And then he eventually took over this podcast, like Lightcast, and he was like, hey, I want to bring my friend Alex on board, who really knows what he's talking about and wants to cover comic stuff. And that's how we started doing the current podcast that I'm on, like Comics and Coffee. And then they were like, hey, we know this guy Gabe who writes Digital Lizards of Doom, it's one of the sponsors of the show, like we wanted you guys to sit down and talk with him. And so then it was through each connection, just being able to like get there. And then that interview just went very well. As I said, you can literally watch it, which is crazy to me that I can go back and be like, okay, this is exactly like how that led to being able to do my first like published comic work, which is just insane to think about. But yeah, I do think it definitely is that networking, and it's also something like being involved with Comic Book Debate for as long as I have, and just doing like what I have for the site is something I've always been super proud of, because I think that you guys also, like as you're talking, are exceptional examples of like professionalism and always doing the things that you should, like especially in the industry and the way that you cover things. And so yeah, just like making those connections and staying on top of that and trying to do that, I think is definitely, I can see the direct like result of that, and so it's been really cool.
That's awesome. I mean, I think we all four of us feel the same way about you, man. We're very excited for you. We're very excited about this project. We're definitely going to be following along on not just this journey, but the journey coming forward for you. So I got to ask you now, I mean, you got your one foot in the door. So if you had your choice of any character to write, DC or Marvel, I mean, never say never, right? I mean, you got one foot in the door already, like I said. So who would you choose?
Honestly, okay, so I know the obvious answer for me, right, is Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan, always have been, and I would love to write Batman, but I have an idea for a Batman Beyond story. I think that Batman Beyond is one of those characters where like he doesn't have that story that everyone points to that even like exceeds it being a Batman Beyond story. Like this is just a great comic. It's like in that echelon where you're like, oh, you got to read this, like whether or not you're a Batman Beyond fan or not. And like I have an idea for a Batman Beyond story, and like I it sounds super like high hopes, but I mean, like I would like to tell that story and hope that that could like do that, because he's one of my favorite characters, and I think that exploration would be really cool. But yeah, I would love to write like a maxi, like a 12 issue or something Batman Beyond series. I think that would be amazing.
Hey man, if you stick to it, stick to what the pathway you're on, stick to the connection that you're making, I think those kind of dreams are not as far off as maybe you thought a few years ago. I think now the pathway is open for anything, and there is no ceiling that you can't, smash through and go to the next level. So we're very proud of you, and we think that you're going to go very far, man. So don't forget about us as you keep going up those stairs.
Oh, never, man. And yeah, it's really crazy because we have been lucky to have a pretty decent amount of guests on our podcast recently, like in the industry. And one thing that a lot of the comic creators have been saying is they're like, yeah, I started like doing one thing, and then randomly I was just around all of these people that I thought were like, they were writing the major comics that they were, like reading and looking up to and stuff. And so here's hoping the same thing just kind of happens. And, in no time I'm around people that I'm picking up their books weekly now. So
awesome stuff, Alex. Well, man, we thank you so much for jumping on us for this segment, man, and introducing Codename EKO-SPIDER. I know it's still a little bit a while away, but I want to tell the audience, when they can expect it, in what form they can expect it in, and all that fun stuff. And the next update.
So our book, Codename EKO-SPIDER, is slated for a February release date, 2022 right now. But in the meantime, Digital Lizards of Doom Level 2 has a Kickstarter that's launching next week. And so you can check that out and be sure to get yourself introduced to the whole Digital Lizards of Doom world and everything. And then, just follow Dizzy Doom Media for like the latest updates and everything that's coming from the publisher, including our book. And yeah, pretty much it.
Awesome, man. I know our audience will be very excited to see it, both the live audience, but also the audience that tends to watch us afterwards. I think they're going to be very interested in hearing more, especially the Comic Book Debate family. I think you saw in the comments, we have a lot of CBD people who are just congratulating you as well. So good stuff, Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait for EKO-SPIDER.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
So now we're back. It's back to the brothers again, right? And first of all, I was thinking about how like the CBD team members, like we've had a chance to work with some amazing people like over the last few years. I was thinking about like the way we each influence each other's lives from just the last few years, even from a professional standpoint, from a friendship standpoint. But you see someone like Alex, like in 2017, when we were talking, hey, why don't you jump on board? I mean, he was just like a fan, a great fan, but he was like, a fan. He wasn't jumped into the world. And then, we sparked something up. You start Comic Book Debate, you start the process, and then you see what happens then. And you can count down the list between Dania doing her master's thesis the same time as us, and Meg and what she did with Justice Con. I mean, the Nerd Queens were working with her now, and then Fatma's starting her own YouTube channel and platform. So many people are doing great things with their platform at the same time as we're growing ours. So seeing that shared journey has been very interesting, at least for me when I'm looking back at all of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So you want to jump into the next topic, because I want to get some levity here and let's just roast each other and all that fun stuff, right? So Space Jam: A New Legacy trailer 2 dropped. We had a topic when trailer 1 app came out that, what will this look like? What will what is this going to live up to the first Space Jam movie that all four of us naturally grew up with? And Xian, when this trailer came out, he stopped. He's like, I have a hot take. And I was like, hey, if you're going to tell me this hot take, you better keep it for the stream, you know? So we want the smoke here. So Xian, what is your hot take after the Space Jam trailer 2?
First and foremost, let me just say that after seeing trailer 2 and then combine that with trailer 1, my appreciation for the original Space Jam has gone much higher because this just looks so bad. I mean, it couldn't look worse than it was. I mean, the first trailer was like okay, but this second one, it's like, it's not funny. That's one thing. It's not funny at all. I mean, at least in the original Space Jam, in the human interactive scenes, like when Michael's playing golf with Larry and Bill Murray's character, stuff like that, it's funny interactions. Like the writing is so good. But in this, like nothing in the trailer like spoke to me. Nothing in the trailer felt like, oh, they're paying homage to the original or they're doing something new or something creative. It just felt like, yeah, LeBron cash grab, he's just trying to be Hollywood now. He doesn't care about basketball anymore, and the Looney Tunes stuff, it wasn't funny either. It's just, I feel like it was this starting to feel more and more like a very, very desperate attempt at trying to recapture the magic of the first one. Though I know I always say, oh, I am not that big a fan of the first one, but I do appreciate it for what it was. And I love all the scenes that take place in like the real world in the movie. But in this, it feels like one, there will barely be any real world scenes, or if they are, they won't be funny. And it just feels like more like, all right, this is more like a family friendly, like good time movie, that a feel good movie. But the other one's like, and Michael Jordan, he's just a cool guy, like when you watch the movie, you think that, all right, he's a cool guy. But LeBron, he's like, you watch this trailer, he's kind of pathetic, like it's like you got out of the first round and now you're like marketing this movie. Like the priorities are all wrong. That's one thing. And two, it's like my respect for LeBron has dropped a little bit because of Space Jam 2, because he's just doing it for the money. Like that's all. He's doing it for the brand, he's doing the money, which you can't knock him for that. But it's like, I thought better of him as a player before seeing the second trailer. Not gonna lie.
LeBron, you have to step in.
Where's the hot take though? That was just facts. All I heard was facts.
Umar, you have to do something, man. You gotta save us here.
You both are the worst. First of all, LeBron James doesn't do anything for money. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James, why would he be doing it for money? It's
for brand. It's for his brand. That's all he cares about.
It's for the narrative.
He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about basketball anymore. That's a fact.
No, he cares about
He's
basketball.
only changing his number from 20 to 6 to market this movie. Nothing else. No other reason. Like Strauss says, oh yeah, he's going up into his mind heat mentality, but that's not true.
When you're playing with friggin' Kyle Kuzma, yeah, you got to do stuff. Until the front office doesn't get him anyone, then it's gonna be bad.
I mean, Umar, but what John's saying about Space Jam 2 in particular, I mean, are you leaning, because we all agree Space Jam 1, I mean, not John, but we all mostly agree that Space Jam 1 is pretty good. But for Space Jam 2, I mean, Zion just slandered your boy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Zion's like, he's like that. Wait, give me a second. Yeah, he's like that. He's like, oh, MG's a cool guy. Well, that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing.
It is because his screen presence is better than LeBron's. He's not even here. He's not even here.
You're talking to no one.
You take his point. You're gonna make the same point anyways, Charles.
Exactly.
It can't. I'll finish his point. His point was that just because Jordan's cool doesn't mean he's a better actor than LeBron. I mean, is he or not? I don't know. But
LeBron's not an actor.
The trailer.
Listen, Samir, you're gonna agree with Zion, so just agree.
It's true, but you know what? I don't agree with the LeBron mentality thing. I think his mentality towards basketball is the same. This year was like an off year because of the injuries. The narrative. That's how it is. So, this movie is all gimmick. Let's be honest. It's all gimmick. It's not like Space Jam 1. Space Jam 1 is like a classic, but this is just gimmick. Yeah.
He's right. It is all gimmick. That's the perfect say. It's just gimmick. The first Space Jam, came by honestly, but this is just like product placement. Here's all of Warner Brothers properties and some other stuff. Like
exactly.
Consume this product.
Yeah.
That's all.
Consumer product is what it is.
This is literally you and Xian right now.
I have news for you. I am sorry to inform you, these championship rings should be made of cubic zirconia.
Cubic zirconia.
Listen, I look. I'll be the objective one because Umar's not here. I need Umar to balance me out, but he did not. So and he disappeared. So the point is that I think Space Jam 1 will actually be better than Space Jam 2. Like, that's the objective opinion. I think Space Jam 1 overall will be seen as a more cult classic. It's going to be seen as the better movie. It's going to be seen as the one that's more nostalgic. So everyone's going to like the original Space Jam 1 more. I know that. I'm probably going to give it a higher. Like when I reviewed both movies, I can already tell I'm going to say the first movie was better or more timeless. That doesn't mean the second movie is going to be bad. It's like comparing the original Muppets movie to the new Disney Muppet movie that came out with Amy Adams 10 years ago, right? It's just, and yeah, it's only on a cash grab between children's character, but there's a limit. There's a limit. But without Umar, I'm gonna get bullied by you guys. So what can we do?
I'm sure it'll still be enjoyable. I mean, we'll watch it. We'll have fun. It's just a fun movie. So
it's just a fun movie. Xian's thinking it's gonna be like he's gonna treat it like The Godfather.
That's thing. It wasn't even that great. Like it wasn't that great. This one, the first one, it was like for everybody, kids, adults, everybody can watch it
also,
and take something out of it and enjoy it. But this is just for kids.
Like number for those reasons. Yeah.
Listen, trust me, I know. There's no other reason for him to change it. There's no other reason. Just he's marketing because then why when making this movie wouldn't he make for 23? Unless they do Michael Jordan's already 23. But why change his number in real life then? There's no reason besides the fact that he's number 6 in Space Jam.
I'll tell you the reason. It's so obvious. He wants his number retired twice in the Lakers. Okay, he wants to be like Kobe, and you know what? That's worse. Trust me,
it might be worse. Yeah,
I'm saying that if he wins a championship with 6, he's going to get both retired. I'm not saying he deserves it, but I'm saying that in fact maybe he only deserves 1. Maybe he'll only say pick one of the 2 numbers. But
no, he deserves both. Like obviously, movie aside, actor LeBron aside, he's the best player in the NBA.
What if he never wins another championship with 6? Then he only gets 23 retired.
No, he will. Next year, Lakers got it. They're gonna win.
He's 100%. You just said that LeBron is done winning with him.
Yeah, it's like, but I don't get LeBron sticking sometimes because that's what it comes off of. Like that's what it comes off as. Like he doesn't take over the game. He's getting slower, obviously, but they're still gonna win next year. He's still the best player. He's still better than KD. Like KD's the worst.
Is Robotic Uzi in the chat because he just said KD's the worst? But I don't know. He's not. Either way, so are we gonna stay on this topic or should I just move to the next one?
Just move on.
Yeah, just move ahead.
Never come back.
He couldn't handle this Space Jam slander.
I'm saying, what can we do? Wait, Uzi, you have anything to say? Because you're saying a lot of hmms. Even Torlo Man is here saying stuff. All right, we're losing the audience. We're losing the audience. All right, let's go on to something a little more interesting. Is it interesting? I don't know. But so an anime Lord of the Rings film titled The War of Rohirrim is in the works at Warner Brothers. So it's going to be kind of telling the story of Helm's Deep, the original story of how whatever happened there happened, and then why the legend of Helm's Deep is so big. This movie is going to kind of fill in the gap. It's going to be using anime as and like Japanese style anime as the medium. So as a Lord of the Rings fan, Xian, do you think this is a good idea? This is an idea that you think is worth for them doing?
I'm 100% for it. I think, especially in an anime, that would be absolutely sick because the animation, is just going to be beautiful and super crisp, which is what Lord of the Rings needs. It needs to present it in a very, very grand way, a very majestic way. So I think anime is a great style to do it as well. As far as story, obviously takes place way in the past. With I think that Helm Hammerhand is going to be following his journey and what he did. And I think it's great. They said they got Peter Jackson's blessing also. So, and he obviously directed the original Lord of the Rings films, which he did an amazing job in. I think it'll be great. I think the choice to do anime over like Western animation was the best thing they could have done because really, if you just compare the level of animation they can like do in anime is just at another level, because especially when they go all out and they make it as beautiful as possible, there is no American animation that could compete with that. It just really can't. So I think for this, where it's all like you see like the world and the nature of it and just the detail, anime was the way to go, and I'm all for it.
Samir, what about you? What do you think about this idea? I mean, you're also, just like us, we're all big fans of Lord of the Rings, but what do you think about this medium being used, anime in particular, to tell the story of this Lord of the Rings?
I definitely agree with Jan. This the Japanese anime art style is really nice. I think it would definitely work great for this fantasy type story, so I'm all for it.
Cool. And you know, when in doubt and when Umar is not available, we need a replacement Umar. And at this point, we're bringing Alex back one more round. Thank you for volunteering to jump back in. But Alex, man, what do you think about this Lord of the Rings? First, are you a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies? I feel like you are. I mean, I've definitely seen you tweet about it a few times. And what do you think about this kind of anime project with the world?
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a huge fantasy fan, just in general. So I'll take any more Lord of the Rings content that I can get, honestly. So it's very exciting to see a bunch of new projects being announced. And I have to be honest, I'm not the biggest anime fan. I'm trying to change that and watch more anime. But I think that I agree with what y'all have said in the fact that there is so much that you can do with the art style and really get super creative with it and just capture a lot. And it'll be really cool to see the Lord of the Rings like universe explored in that way and in that medium. And yeah, it's super exciting too, because you can do so much with a series as opposed to, you know, the constraints that you get with a film a lot of the times. So definitely very excited to see them be able to elaborate on things in that way.
I definitely think if you're gonna watch some anime, I mean, we got to put you on Attack on Titan. We got to put you on Demon Slayer.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll add them to the list. I'll try. I'll get into it. I'll try.
Try. I mean, all we can hope for is to try. You know.
Yeah.
Ironically, Umar is the only of the four brothers that doesn't try for the anime. So therefore, he doesn't get into it. But you know, Alex, I'm gonna backtrack and go back to the other topic, because it causes big debates among the bros, and now we need you to come in with your objectivity on it. But if you saw the Space Jam 2 trailer, I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, I don't know, the first Space Jam, are you a big sports guy in general, or even sports movie in this sense? But it's Looney Tunes. I mean, who among us can resist? So what did you think about the Space Jam 2 trailer?
I mean, I love the original movie. I love the Looney Tunes, I'll have to say, more than I do for sports. In this, I think the Looney Tunes have a bigger stake for me. I am moderately a sports guy. I like kind of keep up and like keep in with some of them. It kind of varies. It'll go in waves whenever I'm paying attention and not. So I admittedly don't have a big stake in it from the sports angle. But yeah, I mean, I think the trailer, it's not necessarily like my kind of movie that I'll go out of my way to watch, but it does look like just a like kind of fun, very, as y'all were saying, like family friendly movie that's kind of going for that angle and leaning very hard into that. I mean, like, I think that it knows what it is, and if you're able to like recognize that and expect that, then you're like, okay, that's, you know, just what this movie's going for. And so I think it does that.
The problem is that Zion and Samir, they both they judge it on like, okay, Godfather 2.
All right, that's not it. That's not it. No, I get what you're saying. Exactly. If you know what you're going in for, but it feels like this is too much more for kids, you know, as opposed to the original, which is something for everybody. But this is like, it's just too childish for some reason. I don't know. It's just the trailers make it seem like, yeah, it's just pure family fun. But there's like, it's very surface level. There's nothing more to take out of it. At least in the original one, there's like interesting human interactions, not between like the Looney Tunes and Michael, but like Michael and the other humans, or like the other players who get their skills stolen. Like those scenes, in my opinion, were the best scenes of the film in the original. So, and I don't think there's going to be anything like that in this Space Jam 2. I want them to surprise me and prove me wrong, but from these trailers, I have very little.
What I'm saying is that look at Alex's perspective. He said that for him, he has a bigger stake in the Looney Tunes than in any of the like Jordan or LeBron or whatever the case might be. So, Alex, from your perspective, I mean, Zion, he's very concerned about hey, they gotta make sure that LeBron has the right script, these people have the right script, or these guys have the right interactions. But for you, just seeing the Looney Tunes or the Looney side of it's more important. So do you feel like it doesn't really matter like what they give LeBron to do or for him to say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, personally, and it'll probably ruffle some feathers. I don't really care like what LeBron's part is in that. I think it's just like cool to see him in it. You know, it's a recognizable, like for me, anyways. Like I just don't have, as I said, that much stake in it. So I'm like, oh, okay, like obviously I know who LeBron James is and stuff. So I think it's just cool to see him like interacting with the characters in whatever sense. And I mean, as I said, it's not a movie that I don't think I'll go out of my way to see because it's just not my style. I do tend to lean towards what Zane was saying, but yeah, it's. I mean. We'll see how it goes.
Samir, what do you have any new perspective that you've gained these last few minutes, or are you still stuck that hey, it's just going to be?
I mean, the thing about the thing about the focus on the Looney Tunes is Warner Brothers is just doing the absolute most with the characters right now, with their full slate of every character out there. I mean, it knows what it is, but frankly, that's just a bad thing. It's doing too much. It's doing the most.
I mean, well, when Ready Player One did it, then you were fine with it. I'm not comparing Ready Player One.
Did I even watch Ready Player One?
You didn't watch it. That's always the first problem, you know? The first problem is right there. Well, I'm saying this reminded me, I'm in the same year. We see Iron Giant, he's fist bumping King Kong. And it's like, yeah, this is what this movie's going to be, you know? Like, Joker's in it, you know? Joker's in this movie.
Yeah.
And Pennywise and a lot of other characters. But, yeah, this is one of the things that we're going to debate about forever. But I'm going to give you, before we leave, Alex, quick one, Jordan or LeBron?
I feel like I'll lean towards Jordan. I don't know if that's the.
All right, that's your.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
In Shaw's eyes, that's the wrong answer. But
in my eyes, it is the wrong. And Umar's, but Umar's not here. Otherwise, he would have gone on a soliloquy. It would have been like 2 hours long. But we're good right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open to the conversation for sure.
All right. So, Alex, you want to stick around this for a little longer? We might jump a couple of more topics. It's up to you.
I mean, I'm game if you guys want me to.
Cool. So I'm gonna jump into some Loki talk. Actually, we have some comments. Alex, you're getting a ton of suggestions from.
Yeah, I know. I was
Hunter Hunter, Cowboy Bebop. You know, yeah. So just keep those in mind. Even though I think we suggested Attack on Titan first, but then you got one of these, so it's like, hey.
Oh man.
It's the way you go. But if you like fantasy and things like that, I think you should go that way, or Demon Slayer. But so Loki, did you guys watch the first episode, or even the first 2 episodes? I don't know if how many did you get to see?
I have not yet actually, but
you've seen the show. All right, I'll go a different topic than first.
We should talk about how Warner Brothers decides to put the DC dog movie, I don't know what it's called anymore.
The dog movie,
Super Pets in theaters, but Blue Beetle and Batgirl, they go direct to streaming. You know, no faith in those movies. It doesn't make any sense in my opinion.
For me, okay, here's the thing. It's like one of those double-edged sword situations, right? So on the surface level, it's like, okay, HBO Max, their whole point is they're putting in a ton of money to make that streaming platform self-sufficient. And when we see characters like Miss Marvel or She-Hulk or WandaVision, these all female-led heroes, and some of them women of color-led heroes who are in the streaming platform, you can make a sense that, hey, why isn't Disney putting those characters on the big screen?
Those are series. They're not films. At least do a dual release. Give some theatrical and put it on streaming like maybe a month later. But they're not even taking the chance on these characters, which is sad, honestly. They're only putting Super Pets because of the star power behind it. You got Dwayne Johnson, you got Kevin Hart. That's the only reason. Otherwise, that should be on streaming instead. I don't get the logic behind it, other than the star power.
No, and I'm making my point, right? The point is that, and actually, I agree with you overall. I think they should always do a dual release for any of their DC properties. I think theatrical market. I think there was this, the death of cinemas was greatly exaggerated. Turns out, I think a lot of us felt like it was over with the pandemic, and it's streaming is going to be king now. And streaming is on the pathway. The slope of streaming is to take over the theater market in the next 5 years, even if not even sooner. But I think what we're seeing with A Quiet Place Part 2, which made 100 million, the highest since before the pre-pandemic, and we're seeing kind of the rebirth of theaters where, hey, it turns out big surprise. People like going to the movie theater. So I think that's changing strategies around. And we saw the backlash with Warner Media and their move when they said, hey, everything this year is going straight to HBO Max. But the point I'm making with Super Pets is that, hey, it's one of those things that they're going to be choosing now which things are going just to HBO Max because they've put in billions and billions. AT&T went into like full debt just trying to kind of make this happen. And now they're exiting the game. But they want to keep this viable, and in the same way that Army of the Dead, it got maybe like a 1 week release, maybe a 1 day release in theaters, and then really it was a Netflix movie, and that goes even with Irishman. You see these movies do that. So I think, should Blue Beetle be in theaters? Yes, but at the same time, we gotta know that, hey, they're gonna keep the streaming thing afloat, and the only way to really do that is to give them exclusives. So yeah, by putting a Batgirl movie or a Blue Beetle movie, are you gonna get more viewers? Probably. Like, are you going to bring more surprises? Yeah. So I think that's why they're doing it. Is it the right move or not? I don't know. Alex, what do you think? Was this the right move for Blue Beetle?
Yeah, I think it definitely deserves a theatrical release. At least I think that limited release window is a way to do it, because I do see the point of like you said, the theater or the streaming service does need something to try to boost its views and its subscriber count and have some exclusive content. But at the same time, like, these characters definitely, I think, do deserve the platform of a theatrical release and being able to do that. And like the way that they're picking and choosing with it, like, I assumed that literally didn't know until 5 minutes ago that the Super Pets movie was getting a theatrical release. I assumed that was going straight to HBO Max, and so that decision is very like odd to me. And so yeah, I think that the limited theatrical release would probably be the way to go. That way you still maintain some of that exclusivity, and then also draw to being able to have it on HBO Max, relatively quickly. But at the same time, like, you have to give these characters and these roles the platform that the other bigger like heroes have as well. So yeah.
Umar, if you're there and it's actually working for you now, what do you make of this? I mean, you've been someone who looks at the totality of kind of the Warner Brothers slate, and you're like, hey, I mean, there's holes in the slate and there's things that could be doing much better. So do you think, in this sense, once again, that they're making the wrong call or the right call by putting this straight to HBO Max?
Yeah, it's the right call. Can y'all hear me? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the right move for them. Blue Beetle being on HBO Max, like, move all the characters that really aren't going to make a dent in the theatrical sense to HBO Max. Stream them, or have what you were talking about before, like having both a theatrical release and a streaming release. I would say that's like the best way to go. The slate itself is, like I said, like, I'm really only excited for Batman. The other things, I don't even know if they're gonna get made, because half the time these guys announce things, they don't get made. So until they show me something else, I'm not really gonna fall for the lies.
So Umar, you took actually a very different approach. You took a different stance that actually me and Zion and Alex, I think, we're making. But we actually said that Blue Beetle should get a theatrical release. In the end, you did say that both should get it. But Samir, if your internet's working, I don't know, we're dealing with everyone having technical difficulties. But Samir, if your internet's working, do you think this is the right move for Blue Beetle?
I mean, my internet wasn't working before, so I didn't hear a word you guys said. But I don't think this was the right move to only release it on HBO Max. I think to build hype around the movie, they need like a theatrical release, and to bring more of the general audience into the future of the DCEU. It's like it's very wonky right now, the future. So I don't think this was the right move at all.
Yeah, and people's like some people saying, like Umar said, oh yeah, he's lesser known to like the wider public audience. But then you look at what Marvel did. Yeah, it was before Disney Plus or anything, but they released all these very relatively unknown characters to the public, like Ant-Man, like Guardians of the Galaxy, and they had faith in the work, they had faith in the project, and looked at the success it had. But it seems like Warner Brothers, they're using HBO Max more as a crutch, because they're like, oh, we don't know how it'll fare in the theatrical market, so let's just dump it on the streaming, and whatever it does, it does, and it won't hurt us as much. And I feel like at least that's the perception that comes off of Warner Brothers' decision of not at least doing a dual release and just doing exclusively streaming for these characters, that they just don't have faith in the projects they're doing or what they're working on.
No, I'm actually, maybe I didn't make my point very clear, but I'm on that same wave. It's supposed the best case scenario is that you do both. I think you should do both regardless. In the age that we're in now, it wouldn't make sense to pick just one or just the other. From a marketing standpoint, of course, you're gonna pick. I like Samir's point about like having a theatrical release does have a certain marketing aspect to it that streaming will never have. So the theatrical thing is good for that front. On the other front, I mean, if as a studio you really are that kind of scared to like just put all your cards for the movie to be just theatrical, then of course stream and then see how the numbers do there too. I think in today's age with the pandemic and everything, it's smart to like use both to your advantage. So yeah.
I think that's the overall best point. I'm saying that while we know that they're gonna be putting, I'm just saying that for the audience to understand that there's gonna be DC films that will be exclusive to HBO Max. Like that's just gonna happen. That's the nature of things. Netflix does it all the time. Disney Plus is going to do it, even though they're not doing it for their series. They're going to make exclusive things just for that platform. And yeah, there's not gonna be a theatrical release for it. I think a lot of us are like we're soured on Warner Brothers for the right reasons, but. And because of that, I think any move they do now is going to be seen like the wrong move, seen as the wrong move. So I would say just in a quick form of objectivity, it's like, okay, what are the other studios doing? Are they doing something similar? And if we're not criticizing them on it, then taking Warner Bros. Out and saying, hey, this is what are you doing right now? Is then it's not going to feel apropos to the moment. So that's the only kind of thing that I'll put as an aside.
Marvel isn't doing anything exclusive to streaming only.
I said Disney. Disney Plus will. They're gonna do a lot of things exclusive for streaming.
What films?
They're gonna make films. I'm telling you. They definitely use one. I've been thinking about it.
With John on this, you can first of all you can still criticize Warner Brothers given their track record. I mean, even if Disney
I said the track record shit, but I'm saying that. But for one thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the MCU built up to this, so you can have a Loki series just throw it on Disney Plus, and people are still gonna watch because you build your audience for 10 years. Warner Bros. Hasn't built anything. They actually build stuff and then destroy it, before they can actually reap the rewards of whatever they're building. Right? That's not just the Snyder stuff. I feel like, I mean, the reports that, even though we're going to take the grain of salt, the reports of what Matt Reeves wants to do, remember, this thing's supposed to be a trilogy, but it looks like it's just going to be a one-off because Soul is just going to come out, and if they choose to run away from his vision, it's too dark, whatever the case may be, then we're going to be having the same conversation again. So again, like with this studio, I believe it's okay to like have the glasses or the lens through which you're going to see them. It's gonna be a bit skewed, but it's biased either way. You know what I mean? Like it's biased either way, so it's fine. You're still gonna, for the Disney peeps and for the MCU, they built their audience that much, so they're able to take those risks now. That Warner Brothers simply is not gonna get the same appreciation over because they didn't do those things to get there.
I think in the end, all of us are probably in agreement on one thing: is I think at the minimum there should be a dual release, even if it's going to be a limited theatrical run for any HBO Max exclusive movie. You should do so. But we saw even with Justice League, they didn't give any kind of limited theatrical release, and that's kind of an outlier. But it's just something to think about. Like, but I saw people they give Irishman a limited theatrical release.
But anything released during the height of the pandemic can't count in the conversation.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that the main juxtaposition that DC Super Pet is getting a full theatrical release, and yeah, they paid a hell of a lot of money to get the cast they have on it, but I think that's funny. Like, you're putting that out there, but I think they're doing it because when like Life of Pets and these kind of movies are like juggernauts for Universal Studios, they're going to be like, hey, we want that for us now. Where's our animal movie? Where's our Zootopia, etc.? So they're trying to capitalize on that, and trying to get the family summer movie where everyone can bring their little kids. That's what they're trying to do with that. So like, I can see why they did that, but I'm saying that it is funny that, hey, at some point, if the few movies you're not putting on HBO Max are people of color or women led, then it's like, hey, you can say that. Something's not adding up there. I don't know. Something's fishy. But but yeah, I think that's I think good enough for that topic. Unless Alex, there's something you want to add on it, but you're unmuted, by the way.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. That was basically all of the points that I had.
Cool. Umar, do you have any thoughts on this Lord of the Rings thing that you missed? They're making an anime movie about the War of Rohirrim, which is like going to be covering the original Battle of Helm's Deep, kind of setting up the legacy of why when Theoden and Aragorn, when they took the people to Helm's Deep, why they took it there, the significance of that as a shelter. They're making an entire anime movie about it. I mean, are you down for it, number one, as a movie, and number two, as an anime?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because in anime you can pull a lot of things in terms of like telling the story and the visuals. Of course, you have a lot of freedom to like tell a story within visuals in a lot of ways that you really can't do it in a live action sense. So, and then anything Lord of the Rings is pretty exciting because we haven't really gotten much, especially of that. Going deep into that world, which is what this project would probably be seeking to do. So, anything Lord of the Rings, I'm really excited about. I want to see that.
Shaz, you're literally muted.
I'm saying, Umar, like, bro, your like headphones just scratching against your beard. It's just not working out today. But
the comment is so good.
I'm gonna check the comment right now. Oh, this comment word comes randomly. This was your last get.
It's so random.
It just works out. It works out in a weird way. Today's been technical difficulties. As Shaw said, I am a trooper.
Doesn't this like this Peter Parker particularly look like Samir a little bit?
What?
Samir on a good day.
Just in personality.
Yeah, in personality, I'm saying.
Never forget, Umar's hot take is that Spider-Man 3 is the best of the trilogy.
Alex, what do you think about that?
Before Alex jumps in, let me just say that Spider-Man 3 is better than Far From Home and Homecoming.
So if we're talking about the original Spider-Man movies, I haven't even a hotter take than that. I don't really like any of the original Spider-Man movies anymore. I grew up with it. Literally, the first Spider-Man movie is the first movie that I remember seeing in theaters. Like, that is the earliest memory I have of going to the movies, and I just can't watch them anymore. Like, I loved them growing up, but I just, every time I go back to them now, I can't get through it. I just am not a fan anymore. It hurts me a little bit, but yeah,
So Alex, in about 2 weeks, you're gonna receive a mail. It'll be a pink slip. It's gonna say, thank you so much for working with ComicBook Debate.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I understand.
I'm joking, but
when's the last time you tried to give it another chance, though?
Probably like a year or two ago. Because like I was like, okay, like because I like kind of, because I'd seen clips, on Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and I'd be like, I don't really like this that much, but I was like, okay, I should actually like sit down and try to like get through them, and I just like none of it really lands for me anymore. It just, I don't know. I can appreciate, like, they do a lot of really cool stuff for the time, and I definitely appreciate like why they are so beloved. And I mean, like, as I said, I did grow up with them and love them like at a time, but they just unfortunately don't hold up for me anymore.
So in order, do you have Garfield number one, then Holland, then Toby, or
yeah,
the order?
Yeah, probably, because I don't really like Toby's Peter or Spider-Man as much as Garfield is definitely my number one.
This is blasphemy, man. This is the type of stuff. It's dangerous things to say. No, I think because it's associated with childhood. There are movies that can be that way, where like if you kind of grow up with them and it's the first thing you see, you're not really too fond of them later on. It's like a weird thing. There's probably some psychological thing behind it.
I think so. Of the three, though, I mean, Umar's hot take, which is your hot take, just blew us out of the water. It's called what it is, but he said Spider-Man 3 is the best of that trilogy. Do you have? I mean, you don't like either any of them, but is there one that you feel like this is actually the best of the crop, though?
That's so tough. I do think that Spider-Man 3 receives way too much hate, but I don't know if I would consider it like the top either. So I don't know. I'd probably have to go with either one or two. We're losing everyone.
Right, but what's your take on like the dancing sequence that is like now famous in pop culture?
Oh, I mean, it's iconic. I'll give it that. Just like, that's an amazing sequence. Come on, even if it stands out, you have to love it for what it is.
Well, we've lost Samir somehow. Umar, I don't even know. And so your hot take, it literally just shut down the stream. Now let's call it what it is.
I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you have any other hot takes? Do you also hate pizza and ice cream? And I don't know.
I have a Star Wars hot take. It's probably pretty bad, but I'll save that one.
Go for it. Go for it. What is it?
No, go for it. I don't really like. I like Alden's Han Solo more than Harrison Ford as Han Solo.
That's a dangerous one. Don't say that in front of Star Wars fans.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, so we usually have. I mean, Alex, you said you're not a big sports guy, but in the sports world, there's called Inside the NBA, which is like multi-Emmy award winning. This Charles Barkley, Shaq. And do you ever heard of that show?
Yeah.
All right, good. So they have this thing where at the end of every show, they do like the Nito stat of the night, where they kind of just take it easy and do a non-sports related topic. And we only have 5 minutes left in the stream. We like to keep it very sharp at 1 hour. So we usually have some kind of silly prompt I give to all the brothers, and they haven't seen it, and then it's something really stupid usually. But now since you're here, you're also going to be subjected to stupidity, and so are the people in the comments. So let me find this clip. Let me find this photo real quick. I have it right here. All right, we're gonna go one by one, but I'm gonna start with Samir on it. So this is the question for this week. Samir, where would you where would you put your hat on these two options?
I would. Actually, no. I don't know. I don't even know. I think I'd go with the second one. It seems reasonable, even though he's walking with his front legs too. But
it's the second one because like you can just substitute the front legs for like as arms, and the back legs are the actual legs, So visually that looks more right, but I don't know.
If your internet's even working, what about you? Oh, you want me to give mine? All right, okay. I agree with Samir. That's the look. I'll tell you why they both don't work. That's number one. But the one in the second one, the one on the right, is better because it's more like I don't know, like it's covering his entire like behind. You know what I'm saying? Like you pick a hole for the tail, but the whole thing's being covered. With the other one, it's like half of his butt is not covered. Like I don't know about that. Like it doesn't do it for me personally. Umar, what about you?
Yeah, I'm for the one on the right as well. The other one looks off. This just look right. It looks like, it just looks like the pants aren't fully on because the tail's like, it's just weird. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to even.
All right, Alex, as the guest, you have to kind of give your thoughts on this, and your word's gonna be bond at this point. So which version is better?
Yeah, no, it's got to be the one on the right. I understand the sentiment of the one on the left because you want to have your pants on all of your legs, technically. But the points have already brought up. The left one, like he wouldn't be able to walk with those and have them stay up, and the right one is covering everything that it needs to be covering. It makes more sense. And as said already, you can make the front legs they're like arms in this scenario. I guess Yeah,
I mean, I guess we all kind of agree on consensus, which means it wasn't as big of a debate. I mean, you missed last week's, Alex. We got into almost a fist fight. It was pretty dangerous. I got dangerous out here with our last question. So we have 2 more minutes. I'm gonna give you that one again, and we'll quickly go through it one more time because I think it caused all types of tension. But what are you ordering from the ice cream truck? And so you got to give me 2. You got to give me your favorite and your least favorite.
Okay, so I'm probably ordering either an ice cream sandwich or a chipwich, honestly, or a drumstick, something that I can just really easily, and I'm a big fan of chocolate kind of. My least favorite, I never really got the strawberry shortcake ones. I never really got those very often. The rest of them are pretty good. This is tough. There's so many classics here. Yeah, I think
last time I think 2 of us agreed on ice cream sandwich. I think it was me and Zion, right? So
yeah.
You're with the older 2 Farooqi Bros on this one. Samir, what did you pick? Did you pick SpongeBob last time? What I forget what you picked?
No, I picked the fudge pop, and then I said the ice cream sandwiches.
That is the worst.
That's
the worst options.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just feel like you can
You
get
guys are just
like
wrong.
a fudge pop.
And the ice cream sandwich
anywhere.
is just overrated.
Hell, ice cream sandwich is it.
And for us, the worst one was creamsicle. Honestly, I feel like I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a contender for the worst one.
Yeah, and I said underrated is snow cone, but no one agreed with me on that either. I said, hey,
I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, like a good snow cone in the summer. I mean, that's what it's all about. But
Yeah.
none of you guys agree. I think I've never heard of a screwball, so I can't attest to it. Is it like Italian ice? I don't know.
I feel like it's just like a different type of snow cone, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. So either way, Samir picking fudge pop. I mean, I don't know. It just for me,
It screams criminal. You know, like
Ice cream sandwich is so overrated. You're biting ice cream. Think about that. You're biting it. What kind of maniac bites?
you're
ice
biting your like fudge bar or whatever
then-
too. What's the difference?
cream?
your teeth are gonna break, bro, when you bite that fudge bar.
Fudge pop isn't really like ice cream. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like a mix.
So you don't know what it is, but
like
it's your
fudge.
favorite.
It's like a fudge thing, bro. But ice cream sandwiches is just overrated.
So
the
ice
cookie
cream
part,
sandwich
like,
versus
is
fudge
like-
You're
thing.
overrated.
Doesn't go with it. Listen, man, the cookie part is not that good. You're biting the ice cream in the middle. It's like plus, and then if you bite too hard, sometimes the ice cream just falls out the back. It's like that's not right.
Sounds like you're having the wrong
Ah,
ice
but
cream.
when you're eating an ice cream cake, you also bite the ice cream. What's the difference?
I don't eat ice cream cake. Ice cream cake.
Oh,
is the
okay.
worst.
He's too good for ice cream.
So, yeah. The insanity started long ago. Okay.
I eat regular cake. You know.
A regular cake. I don't know, Samir. I mean, I like Chipwich also. I think the drumstick and the king cone are kind of interchangeable. The firecracker looks kind of bad, to be honest. I don't know.
Isn't firecracker also just like an ice pop? You would love that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever. So we've jumped the shark as we always do, and it was the two topics we didn't talk about this week, which we'll get to whenever. I mean, Fatima wants to throw a dynamite into the chat and then cover her eyes because she said just mint choc chip, which we all had a big debate about if it's good or not. I mean, Alex, is it good?
Oh, I love mint chocolate chip. Probably my favorite ice cream flavor. It's in the top two.
With all due respect,
You
you're
can't
wrong.
have two scalding takes. First, the original Spider-Man slander, and now this. You're really walking on fire right now.
Yeah, no, I'll die for mint chocolate chip. It's fantastic.
Samir, what was your point about mint chocolate chip?
It's
You have
not
a
even
point?
ice cream. I don't know what it is.
Oh man, come on.
You said you didn't even know what's in the fudge bar, bro. I don't know what it is. It's just good.
You take vanilla ice cream and you like take some toothpaste, you just put it in, mix it around, put some chocolate chips. There's your ice cream. Like, how can you like that?
That's not right.
No, that's not it. It's so good. It's incredible.
It's incredible. All right, so for the people who actually survived, once we jump the shark, it's over. But the people who survived, Alex said that all the Tobey Maguire movies are shit, and then he said ice cream, mint chocolate chip ice cream is good, which is like, and then yeah, at least he said he likes ice cream sandwiches. So there's something there, but not enough. Yeah, there's something.
Wait,
there, a little bit.
Alex, before we go, can we agree though that Far From Home is like the worst Spider-Man movie of all time?
He just said Spider-Man 2 is the worst.
He didn't say it was the worst. What are you talking about?
Okay, I can agree it's in contention. I don't know. It's
That's
definitely.
fair. I'll accept that.
Okay, that's good.
Umar, what's the worst Spider-Man movie?
All the MC ones. They're just bad. Tom Holland's just
Now, Homecoming was okay. But Far From Home was just
okay, man.
egregious. Like the end thing of Nick Fury not even being him the whole time was just like a spit into the face of the audience, a middle finger to the audience.
Yeah,
So bad.
I wanted to shoot myself in the face twice.
What's wrong
That's
with you?
how bad it was.
What's wrong with you, Umar? Is he on
He
one?
always goes too far.
Samir, what's the worst Spider-Man movie? Bro, Samir's the trainer. He's not even there, bro. It's like
Listen,
he was gone 2 minutes
word,
ago.
One word. Barf. That's the worst movie. You can't get worse than Barf.
I don't remember the context. I forgot the movie.
It's like that's what the technology was called that he made, but then Tony Stark renamed to Barf something. It was just bad. It was just not good.
Probably
Samir, what's the-
maybe the Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't that good.
Oh,
No.
Alex, you heard him. You heard
It's
what he
good.
said.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. I just cannot really get behind any of those three anymore.
Samir said that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is bad.
Oh, okay, no. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best live-action Spider-Man movie we've gotten. I'll stand by
Yeah, I
that.
feel like Umar might agree with that.
It by far has the best visuals, and we've still not seen a better Spider-Man Spider-Man movie with better visuals than that. Like, it's
Oh,
just
100%.
perfect.
There are some things with the story that I'm like, like it's okay, but honestly, like on the whole, I absolutely love that movie. I cried in the theater. Like I was so worried about Gwen the whole time, and I was like, maybe they won't follow the comics, maybe they won't do it, and then I was like, oh, I mean, they did it, but it's fine.
What do you think about that deleted scene though? That like his dad comes to see him at the graveyard.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
do you like that, or do you rather him just be dead?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of like it's weird. I'm glad it's a like deleted scene, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I'm all for people going like crazy in adaptations, kind of. So I'm like, I don't know. I would have to see like what it would mean more in the future, but like as it is, just as like a random deleted scene thing, like it's cool, I guess. But I am glad it's not in like the main movie without further expansion. Like down the road.
Somebody put such a funny like comparison of Amazing Spider-Man to Far From Home, where it's like, oh, Aunt May talking about Ben's stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, she can't throw it away. She's gonna find a better place for them. And then compared to Far From Home, it's like, oh yeah, like Ben's thing got blown up, and they're like smiling and walking away. Like the only thing that left for Ben.
Yeah.
So bad.
I feel like my last hot take, we gotta wrap up. We're 5 minutes over, but I feel like Amazing Spider-Man 2 is actually the BVS of the Spider-Man movies. Like,
I would agree.
and that can go both ways, like depending if you like or hate the movie. Because like I feel like you said, it's visually stunning. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of storylines happening in one movie, and either you're really down with it or you're not. And it's funny because some people are actually half and half. They're down with like BVS, but then they don't like Amazing Spider-Man 2, or they're down with Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they don't like BVS. And some people like both. I tend to like both, but Umar unmuted himself, so I know he has a thing he wants to say to me, but
Yes.
too bad we're out of time.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is very underrated, and I believe that Traz probably also cried, Alex, when he saw that web turn into an arm. He was like, "Yo, what's happening right now? This is crazy. This is cinema. This is the Marvel scene all over again."
You're the Martha scene. It was before the movie came out.
Whatever.
You're projecting, Umar. I know you cried, but it's okay.
A little bit.
All right, so that thing we've run this stream into the ground. That's what we do every week. So Alex and I got to see it firsthand, but we want to kind of be like like a brotherly conversation. So I just want to bring it up one more time, Alex. 2022 codename EKO-SPIDER. You can follow his Twitter. Keep in touch with what he's gonna have going on in terms of projects. I'm sure he'll be updating you guys regularly on how that goes on, and so will we on the ComicBook Debate channel. So feel free to follow it and the four of us. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi Brothers, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.